Crystal ball. Scrying is the art of staring into a shiny object until it surrenders an image. Crystal balls are traditionally popular, but one can also use the surface of water, even the fingernails. The scryers of Fez were said to peer into a vessel of water in which they saw swarms of demons, whose responses to questions could be interpreted by their wild gesticulations. Necromancy. The art of communicating with the dead. Many Japanese shamanesses are blind from birth. While the soul of the deceased speaks through their mouth, the shamaness plays with a pearl necklace. Pendulum. This is really a form of dowsing. The most suitable material for a pendulum would be a crystal or precious stone, although different types of crystals suit different personality types. During the Second World War in 1942, a pendulum institute was established in Berlin by Captain Hans Roeder of the German Navy. This study was a reaction to information that the British Admiralty were discovering the positions of German U-boats by holding the pendulums over maps of the Atlantic. Haruspicy. The reading of the future in the entrails of freshly sacrificed animal. This is an old shamanistic technique, and while it is a genuine and well-documented form of divination, it's maybe not for everyone. Tarot cards. Tarot has had an ability throughout history to adapt and absorb other esoteric systems. This makes it an almost perfect oracle, which can adjust to any time, space, or culture. Its invocation of the great themes of life, death, the lovers, the devil, the wheel of fortune, speaks directly to our imagination. Clairvoyance. With its cousin, clairaudience, these are the arts of direct perception of those forces hidden from most mortals, either in the form of visions or of voices. The history of clairvoyance is full of famous luminaries, from Edgar Cayce to Nostradamus, whose sometimes ambiguous visions told of apocalyptic events, disasters, and defining moments in history. I Ching. Although almost 5,000 years old, the I Ching didn't reach Western civilization until 1882, with the Leg translation of this Book of Changes. Flipping the coin for heads or tails is a devolution of the I Ching system. The book itself is both austere and yet sublime. Inventor of binary code, Gottfried Leibniz, in the 17th century, is said to have intuited his idea on the I Ching yin-yang, on-off, yes-no principle. Narcotics. There is a big difference between indulging in the hedonistic pleasure of smoking this or that intoxicating substance and the use of natural psychedelic agents in a ritual oracle. The Sami shaman, after fasting for several days, takes a hot bath at nightfall and then eats 3 or 7 mushrooms before falling into a deep sleep. During sleep, he is visited by spirits and awakens trembling with the message. Augury. Augury is the practice from ancient Roman religion of interpreting omens from the observed flight of birds. Fortunately for the Romans, flightless birds such as penguins were rarely seen on the Italian peninsula. Dowsing, also known as water witching, this is a method of discovering water or minerals beneath the ground using a rod or forked twig, generally hazel, rowan or ash. In 1967, the New York Times reported that US Marines in Vietnam used divining rods made from wired coat hangers to detect mines with some success. Perhaps the Marines in Vietnam were aided in their development of highly sensitive intuition by the copious amounts of marijuana they were ingesting over there. Astrology, the study of the relationships between the heavens and the earth. Every highly evolved civilization of the past has embraced astrology and given it a place of importance in its culture. Egyptian, Babylonian, Chinese, Indian, Muslim, Mayan, Greek. Despite the disdainful rejection by the mainstream scientific community, astrology is certainly an exact science. It's important to realize that it is not logical, but rather analogical. Oniromancy, the interpretation of dreams. Synesius, a Greek born in 370 AD, was a student under the female philosopher Hypatia. He wrote in his treatise concerning dreams, "Sleep is offered to all. It is an oracle which is always there and ready, an infallible and silent counselor. In the mysteries of sleep, everyone is his or her own priest and initiate." Runes. The original root of the word rune means mystery or secret, and can still be found in the German word raunen, to whisper. The god Odin attained full occult power and mastery of the runes by hanging upside down from the world tree for 9 days. Since it predates the use of ink in writing in Northern Europe, the rune alphabet is traditionally carved on wood or stone, and it is in this form that it is still used as an oracle in modern times. The book. This is a surprisingly effective and sometimes chillingly accurate method of divination if used with restraint and not as a parlour game. Open a book at random. Allow the little finger of the left hand to fall undirected upon a phrase or sentence. Read the phrase and make your interpretation. Some books are not really suitable. The phone directory is just too cryptic. Highly recommended. Anything by Shakespeare, Lorca, or James Joyce. The sky. Contemplation of an empty sky for long periods is a form of meditation and a source of visions found among the Araucanians of Venezuela. The shamaness of the tribe falls into a trance and sends her soul to the Sky Father to present the wishes of the community. This often takes place on a high plateau. On her return to the community, she describes her journey and the divinatory message she has received. Psychometry. The ability to discover facts about an event or person by touching inanimate objects associated with them. Sometimes reluctantly used by police investigators in a desperate manner when all rational procedures have failed. Perfume. Using incense as an aid to passing into higher states is the basis for its continued use in formal religions the world over. The Catholic Church, the Hindu temple. The priestess of Delphi was immersed in herbal scents and perfumed smoke before delivering the famous oracle. Cartomancy. Playing cards. Tarot's poor relations from an occult point of view, not having the added weight of the major arcana due to church repression, tend to throw their light upon more mundane matters of romance, finance, good and bad luck. Their very nature emphasizes numerology and the differing characteristics of the four suits which represent earthly fields of endeavour, rather than the intervention of the gods on our behalf. Weighing of the skull. As an oracle, this is a rare system, not surprisingly, because first one needs to acquire the skull of a dead shaman of local renown. However, the procedure is remarkably simple. Hold the skull in an open palm, ask a question. If it feels light, then the answer is yes. If heavy, then no. Practiced in Central Asia. Hand reading. It is actually the whole of the hand which is read. Fingers, nails, wrist. So the term palmistry is not really accurate. It is also called chiromancy, after one of its famous practitioners, Cairo. Cairo himself seemed initially to be an archetypal charlatan who made a small fortune from the art of hand reading, although he was personally skeptical about its veracity. Yet in time, and to his surprise, he discovered he was able to make uncanny and exact readings and precisely accurate predictions. Tea leaves. The common concept of reading the patterns in tea leaves from china cups, having finished one's afternoon tea, is a very long way removed from its origin in Central America and Central Asia. The local witch doctor would drink a foul-tasting and very hallucinogenic potion from a clay pot, and then, after vomiting and going into a state of delirium, he would stare at the dregs in his vessel until they formed into visions which told him of coming events of importance for his community.